Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to Board Games Unlocked, and Devin and I are doing a discussion for Eldritch Horror. This game, God, how old is this game now?
Just one of your firsts,
like my first game? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yes. I had everything for Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, and then this one obviously came out. It came out, what's funny, because Arkham Horror 2nd Edition just got so crazy with content. You think this has a lot?
Yeah.
Arkham Horror 2nd Edition had even more.
Damn.
And this was designed to refine it. And they were like, don't worry, we're not going to bloat it out.
Bloats it out immediately.
Yeah. But still, somehow, keeping it relatively refined. Like, because 2nd Edition for Arkham Horror was just still kind of all over the place. But this game came out in, if I knew how to spell Eldritch, if I knew how to spell Eldritch Horror, in 2013.
Damn.
This game is 10 years old at this point, which is crazy to think about, because I got it at that time, too, so just shows how long I've actually been in the hobby. Yeah, and as time has gone on, I no longer own Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. Arkham Horror 3rd Edition came out, and it just was not good, and it's not even getting supported anymore by Fantasy Flight, because they put all their resources into the card game. So the Arkham Horror card game I actually do like more than this one, because I feel like the writing's better, the campaigns are better, the story it's more of like a story-driven thing that is just a little bit more up my alley. But if you're really just talking about a game that has, if you love Cthulhu, or if you love Lovecraft, you can't really find a game that beats this one out, in my opinion. So I've done a discussion for this game before. It's been years and years, so I wanted to kind of redo it to mesh with the format of my channel now. And we included a lot of expansions. The Himalayan one and a lot of the small ones. So Devin, what do you think of Eldritch Horror?
Oh, Eldritch Horror. It is nice. I enjoyed the game. It was fun. It kind of brought me back. It's been a while since I've done a nice scenario kind of game, where you read cards and we resolved this little standalone scenario, which was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Gameplay-wise, definitely, let's see here, dice heavy.
Yeah.
Dice heavy sign, which it's like, I don't mind. Hey, I'm used to bad luck. It's okay. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, it's a fun game. I enjoyed myself. I'm struggling to think of, like, I guess I'm more used to, we've been doing campaign games for a while. I'm like, okay, how do I describe this kind of game anymore?
I know. You're expecting it to like lead into a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
It does have a campaign to it, but I don't know a single person who's ever done that.
I mean, it's certain. I don't know where it begins. I'm sure there's a slew of add-ons you put in. Yeah,
I mean, so the reason why I still love this game, because it's funny, the luck aspect of this game, it doesn't affect me as much as other games, because I think this is probably just because I am well aware what kind of game this is, and I get way more engrossed into the theme. This kind of, to me, is like this Lovecraftian epic that you can really ham up, and you kind of take the die rolls for better or for worse and make it funny. When bad things happen to you, it's more hilarious, because it just doesn't have that same impact like a campaign game does. If you fail, then it's kind of like, do we redo it? We just keep getting worse. In this, it's like, oh, we lost. Okay, well, that was still 2.5 hours of a fun time.
Right.
But there's just so much content to this game that you're just never going to see. I mean, look at this item deck, dude.
Every single one of them is different.
Exactly.
It's pretty fucking bonkers.
It's so wild. You get so many just different gear. We didn't even get the god-killing shotgun.
I know.
That's really why we lost.
God killer.
But
I don't need to get one. Just this god killer straight on the side.
I mean, but the one amazing thing that I always loved about this game was the fact that every location, like, like this green deck, we went through 3 cards. Mm-hmm. And that's just 3 different options that have Arkham, San Francisco, and Buenos Aires on it. So you're just going to have the amount of writing in this game, especially back then, is insanity. Mm-hmm. The amount of mythos cards, the amount of Ancient One specific research cards.
And every single one of them has like flavor text on them.
Exactly. Yeah. And you just really while the writing it's snippet form, it still evokes a picture. Mm-hmm. Especially if you know any of like the lore, then you can, from actual Lovecraft, you can envision what's going on. And the reason I used to think Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, because it was in the city of Arkham, so it was a lot more condensed, and I used to think that was a lot better because it felt more homelier, But this one, because you're traveling all over the world, having different encounters in different cities and in wilderness areas and going into other worlds, like it's awesome. Mm-hmm. And so whenever the dice are there, and it's like, 4s or 5s and 6s are your only chances of success. It's just kind of like that's what Ameritrash was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That does not exist now, and if it does not do well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, as dripping as it is in the flavor text and whatnot, it certainly, it feels a little dated, but it was fun. It was enjoyable because it reminds me of a lot of the games we played when we first started hanging out.
Exactly.
And that's kind of thinned out over time. I've seen so many of those.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, this game is for sure dated. Like, just a simple thing of like, okay, test will. All right. I got a success. I got a 6. Okay, what happens? Pass, fail. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of run with it, and I mean, there's always the inevitable character that just gets super busted for no rhyme or reason. They just happen to have, I succeed, okay, gain an ancient artifact. Oh, it's a cursed sphere that adds 2 to all skills.
Yeah, would you say like it's like skill build is like a progenitor to several other games, or was this like based off, or did this also take influence from games before it?
You had skills whenever, so in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, your characters actually had sliders that if you were good in one thing, you were bad in another. So like if you chose to increase your skill in lore, that meant you were really bad at strength.
Oh, okay.
Or something. So you made those decisions. I can't really think of any game that kind of took this and like ran with it and like improved upon it like other games, especially with skills. Mm-hmm.
It's like having the skill check and then that would give you however many dice. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Reminded you of anything?
No, that's a good question, but I can't really think of anything that we've played on. I mean, because like Arkham Horror, the card game, has your skills, but that's based off your deck. Mm-hmm. And then you play cards, and then you draw the modifier bag. Mm-hmm. So that was whether you succeeded or failed, which that's obviously way better than just rolling 4 or 5 dice and just hoping you get a 5 or a 6.
Well, I was thinking like with the cards and the what was it, what was that game? Like Above and Below, the Near and Far.
Yeah.
They use that kind of system. The encounter, and then a check, and then
right, and then whether you pass or fail is kind of what you get. Yeah, I mean.
I feel like there's been several other
there
games
probably
that I
is.
couldn't even begin to name.
I know, yeah, there probably is. It's just kind of like loosely influenced, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that is purely like read a story and then make a check and pass or fail.
What was one of the first early ones that did that and brought that into prevalence? But anyway, silly question.
No, I mean, it's a good question because if this game is 10 years old, like, as games have evolved since then, you would think, I mean, there's a lot of things that's, like, more recent where you think Seventh Continent, for example, introduced that map exploration. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, well, Stars of Icarios, Tainted Grail, Aeon Trespass all do that same thing, but in a potentially better way, depending on how much you love. So it's like, yeah, did anything take what Eldritch Horror did and improve upon it? Probably not. I mean, because there are the Cthulhu mythos and the theme is in so many games because it's open source.
Oh, yeah, big time.
but nothing in such a way that's like so snippet story driven. Because most people don't. They want the story to connect. Like nothing connects in this game. You just have random encounters.
Oh, yes, but it builds the story of your character, and that's what's fun.
Well, right. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's needed versus this whole epic where it's like, all right, guys, we have to do another campaign. It's like, this feels like we did, like, a story of a campaign.
Yeah.
But we're done. We lost.
Dalton.
Horribly.
To Haster again. He keeps kicking our ass.
He sucks. I mean, because of the fact that he just dots you for sanity. But then there's just like, okay, well, we have the Miskatonic or the mountains over there. We could have done the Dream World. The Dream World is whenever you rest, you can actually portal into the Dream World.
Oh, nice.
And deal with like Hypnos. And it's really funny though because so many Kickstarter games come out. And this obviously wasn't Kickstarter. So many Kickstarters come out with so much bloat to it. And don't get me wrong, this game is the epitome of bloat. But whenever we were setting up again, because it's been years since I played this. And there were only like 16 ancient ones. I was like, only 16? It was just so weird to be like, oh, there's not 70? Yeah. There's 1 million cards. The Fantasy Flight little cards. These insane. I have 15 decks over here we didn't even touch. We didn't even touch the cards that destroy cities. We barely touched spells. No one really was a spellcaster. We had 2 ancient artifacts come out. Like it just still blows my mind, and I just was reminded again in how much fun this is. But yeah, there's just like, oh, let's do Haster, but really there's only 16, huh? But then I forgot that every single ancient one has their own research deck and has their own special encounters deck. The Mythos cards are not tied to them. That's just, there's decks of that thick of blue, yellow, and green decks, and those are all just random. And then you make the Mythos deck based off of the...
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you know if you're fighting Haster, you're gonna have 2 rumors come out before you start getting into more green and yellows.
Gotcha.
But other than that, yeah, it's like... Eventually, you will start dealing with the Unspeakable One deck. But that's what... Because he awakened, that's the deck we had to deal with. There's another King and Yellow deck that is purely based off the mystery that comes out.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like a lot of games miss out on that. I think so many games... Like, you were mentioning, did anything kind of take from this? But what no one took, that I think this game does super well... is every game wants to include everything that it gives you. And something that I find fascinating about this one is there's a bunch of stuff that you just will never touch. Just because a certain card didn't come out and tell you to deal with it. And I think that that's exciting, because whenever you play a game, especially, and you see everything, like I know people who would read like event cards before a game just to know them, and I'm like, I feel like you miss out a lot. I like the fact that it's like, oh, we didn't even see those.
Yeah.
That's replayability.
No, I agree.
I was watching a Let's Player. He was talking about Liza P, because I was watching him play it. And so many people were telling him he was missing stuff. And he's like, guys, this isn't 100% playthrough. Like, missing stuff is a good thing, because that adds for replayability. Like, you don't want to see everything. You don't want to go through every single mystery card. You don't want to go through every single otherworld event thing. Because then when you replay it, it's like, oh, I've seen that.
Right.
I like not having seen everything, so every time I play it, it feels fresh. And out of all the games over the past 10 years, this game feels fresh, but still dated at the same time. Its mechanisms are 100% dated, but still work. I don't know. I'm not as, like, we play Madara with dice, and it's like, when after a while, I'm like, I'm fucking over these dice. But in here, it's just kind of like, oh, let's see what I got. Okay, well, I didn't get a success. All right, here's my horrible, dark pact condition that will just kill me. And maybe that's just because I'm not playing it new. I'm not playing it, like, right now. I mean, it's hard to kind of discuss these games because of just how old they are. I mean, you've played a ton of these. You've played Legend of Five Rings. What?
Yeah, I played that.
You have played that.
I mean, this style of game is definitely, my style. I really enjoy these.
Really?
Yeah, the snippet ones. Oh, yeah. Big time. I love narrating. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, and yeah, you could just kind of ham it up and have a good time. I'm actually glad we picked the Antarctica one because it's Eldritch Horror, so Halloween just ended, but we're coming up on Christmas, so it's like, ooh, the snow.
The snow.
But even then, like, what you can do, and you can do this with Talisman as well, which is another super old game, but I didn't filter out the decks. Like, because what I could have done was I could have looked through here and been like, okay, we don't have the Masks of the Nyarlathotep expansion, so let me take out all those cards. Just because I didn't want to seed through them all.
Right.
But if you really want to hyperfixate on a very specific expansion, like you would with Talisman, you take out all the stuff you're not using, and so you only keep, I only keep the small, the small expansions in here, and then only keep the Mountains of Madness. Yeah, the Mountains of Madness expansion. So a lot of the story is more themed to that.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, you come across an ancient relic in the pyramids. It's like, well, the pyramids are a location, so it doesn't feel completely out of it. But yeah, we would get a lot more stuff that deals with that.
Exclusively Antarctica.
With Antarctica. In this game, it was like we did go over there, and it was funny. I mean, because even still through the story stuff, it was put in. We had Jim go through it, get all warmed up, and get the guide. You get the was it Sherpa and the snow dogs, and then he's going through there, and he goes through an ice maze, and he appears out. He's like, "Where the fuck am I?"
And then Roland's like, "Oh god!"
Right? They passed by each other, and they're like, but. And those are the stories that you create that players are telling based off events that have happened instead of just having it all told to you.
Right.
And I do feel like that's missed a little bit. It is just a nice breath of fresh air to just be like, we're done. Like, there's not another session of this. And it is good also for me, who's... I mean, I just looked at my ranking of it. It's an 8.5 on Board Game Geek, who talks about this game in his top 100 all the time. Kind of looking at it through a little bit of nostalgia whenever I am talking about it. It's like, I haven't played this game in fucking 2 years, but I'm still saying it's on my top 100. And it's nice to go back to a game and be like, thank God I still like it. Because there are times where it's like, ugh, damn it. Like, it sucks now. Like, I didn't have a good time. So I don't know. It still works for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't come in here and read a bunch of Lovecraft stuff and be like, oh shit, I feel weird about it. Now I have this tattoo. Oh no. I still love his writing. It's just so cool. I mean, yeah, overall, like I'm just trying to think of other additional things to say. But it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's 10 years old. Do you think it still holds up?
Yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah.
No, sure. I mean, it's really not that hard to learn, frankly.
Not really, yeah.
I mean, the setup's not too bad. Well, I mean, the setup's a little bad. Given all those decks.
Setup is a lot of...
There's a lot of deck shuffling there. But
I also have
just the mechanics within the game. I mean, I have to say, they keep them pretty similar from game to game. It's like, you get your standard, you get 2 actions picked from this list of actions you can do.
Yeah. Mansions of Madness does that too. Yeah, that's probably the one thing that I don't like is the fact that you can only you get 2 actions, that's fine, but you can't do the same action. So it's like, it does keep the game kind of going, so it's not like you can't really do a lot of combos.
Right.
But it is like, okay, we need to get over to the Himalayas. We can only travel once, so we can only move 1 space. Unless we prepare for travel, then we can move further. But if you really get into the theme, it makes sense. It's like, we need to get to the Himalayas. Well, that's not going to be a fucking day trip. It's the Himalayas. We need to get all the way to Antarctica, but I'm in London. You got a while. Especially not in... This is set in, like, the 20s. You're taking a ship, dude.
Fuck that.
Yeah. No,
God,
right?
This is over months.
So, if you take the actions kind of as they are thematically, it's not that big of a deal. But also, it's quick. Your turns are boom, boom, boom. All right, everyone deal with encounters. And this is also a game where I'm invested in what is happening to the other players. I'm excited to read a story. And they also did something really cool, is when your characters go down, you actually can go have an interaction with them and get like a send-off to try and get their stuff and see what happened to them when they went insane or they went down due to health.
Right.
That's really cool. Another thing this game did to try and streamline it, which just wasn't happening, was the Prelude cards, which we didn't do. We just handpicked what we wanted to play, but the Prelude cards is a massive deck you just shuffle, and some of them will tell you to throw in the Mystic deck. Some will tell you to put in the Egypt sideboard. Some will tell you to put in side adventures that you can go on.
Okay.
And I always thought that was cool. That, again, it's another thing where you're not going to see everything. Most of them are just like, I think the one I did draw for us to initially use was it allowed us to like look through and take tasks from this deck. Like, we would have all started with like certain tasks on our thing. But even the Prelude cards have flavor text.
Yeah.
To even just kind of somewhat seed the setup. There's a lot of still really good ideas that I think a lot of games can still benefit from. But they gotta make them all campaigns. Yeah, I think...
Still an 8.5?
Huh?
Still an 8.5?
Yeah. I was thinking about bumping it up to a 9, but I think I'm more comfortable keeping it at an 8.5. Setup is still a bear.
Yeah, for sure.
But I will say, like, even after all these years, it was funny because I was like, okay, let's do a refresher on the rules. And I was able to just still tell you how to play the game.
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm amazed I'm actually remembering this. I can't even remember games we just played the other day. But this one is just stuck in my head. Keep it at an 8.5 because of nostalgia. Like, I just remember playing this, like, on the floor. Like, we used to play games on the floor when we didn't have a table big enough to I know. It's like, oh, my back.
God, Christ.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this game all the time because it's long. But one of these days I do, because it can play up to 8.
Nice.
I think, yeah, like, I will say if I didn't have the crate, this game would never get fucking touched.
Oh, yeah.
If I just had baggies of stuff.
Oh, fuck that.
Of all the different cards, yeah, the crate is wonderful. Yes, it plays up to 8 players. Damn. And every gate spawn is 2 gates. You spawn 4 clues whenever the icon shows up, and then Monster Surge is 3. I don't even know how I'd get 8 people. I think the max I've ever had for this is 6.
Be cool, though. Be fun.
It would be, like, yeah.
I'd be down for an 8-man talisman.
That plays... God, how much does that play up to? I think it's 6.
Remember, we did that at Gen Con. We had like 6 or 7. It took us like all night.
We had to go to another event because that guy didn't even know how to play his own game. Well, 4 people were like new.
That's true.
It plays up to 6. Yeah, we had 6 people, yeah, and it was like 4 of them were new, and it was me and you, and I was like, dude. I'm like, dude, no. Talisman is another one we'll redo. I was almost going to do both of them today, but I want more people for Talisman because it's competitive. This was easy to do. I mean, theoretically, there's nothing stopping like you from playing 2 people and running 4 characters. This game is so easy to manage multiple players or multiple investigators, which is nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
I will give it. Give it a solid 8.
8?
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it. Unique assets. Definitely probably one of the better iterations of this, of, Fantasy Flight's take on the Lovecraftian board game. Yeah, definitely a good one. Enjoy it. I'd replay it. Had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Love the small form story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8. Solid 8.
Nice. Yeah, there's, in terms of Lovecraft games, there's this one, Arkham Horror the card game, and Cthulhu Death May Die are the 3.
Oh, that was that battle heavy one, wasn't it?
That's the one where it's kind of like you shuffle like an ancient one and then a story box. We played it at that bar at Gen Con.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where you can play as Rasputin.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That one is also fantastic, and that one is kind of like a different style of Lovecraft, which is still done really, really well. In fact, shortly, probably next year, I'll be getting a Cthulhu-sized one that's basically like that Galactus.
Oh, that'd be cool. Nice.
So very excited for that. But yeah, those are basically my 3 Lovecraft games, and I'm very excited that this game still holds up for me.
Nice.
All right. Well, that is it, everyone. That's our thoughts on Eldritch Horror. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.